The rich guy cannot sleep in his multi-million mansion because his poor neighbor is not asleep in his hut. And the rich guy thinks to isolate himself from his poor neighborhood is a form of security. So he constructs a concrete wall fence, and on top of it, he puts electric wires. He has a security guard who owns a gun and a German Shepherd that he spends on $30 per day in meals. That is not enough. He has security cameras on every corner of his house. But still, when something bangs in the night, he doesn't pick his phone to call the security guard he handsomely pays to protect him. Nor does he go to the monitor screen of his CCTV cameras to be able to see what is taking place outside. He moves to the window, pulls the curtains, and he wants to see by his eyes what is taking place outside. Why? Whereas this gentleman's premises are secure, his heart is not. And that is life-threatening. He gets to live on tension, and his body becomes vulnerable to life-threatening chronic illnesses that come as a result of a stressed mind. Many times we forget that the suffering inside us starts with the suffering of those around us. The pain inside us may be as a result of the pain of those around us. When we are not connected to our surrounding, the solutions to our problems often become problems to our surrounding. And in the end, we are unable to solve both our internal suffering and the suffering of those around us. That is why mindfulness as a practice of happy, healthy, and sustainable living become a very important virtue for human progress. When we are able to pay non-judgmental attention to our thoughts and the surrounding, we engage more authentically with our experience. And by doing so, we awaken the beauty in each moment, consequently fostering a deep sense of gratitude and connection with the world around us. The world is what it is: broken by violence, divided by religions, destroyed by greed, ruled by classism, fundamentalism, racism, tribalism. Consumed by all the defining characteristics of fear. Because as humans, we are not connected to each other through the universal energy called love. The opposite of love has never and will never be hate. The opposite of love is indifference. When we think that because it is not on us, so it is not about us, we become complacent. We become accomplices in the crimes against the lives of others. And life is very interesting. When we cheapen the lives of some men, we cheapen the lives of all men, even our own. I learned that from the story of the axe when it visited the forest. Because the axe was strong and sharp enough, it felt entitled to destroy the entire forest. And counting hundreds of thousands of trees dead, when it was falling the last tree in the forest, its handle broke down. That was when it realized that the handle that actually gave it the ability to destroy the forest was made from wood. And looking around, there was no tree left standing to give it the ability to be strong another day. That can also be said as a story of humans and the planet. When we destroy the planet for self-satisfaction, the negative impact of our actions become an existential threat to all of us. We are never saved by the satisfaction from our destruction. Life must be lived mindfully. The world's problems will not be solved by the next innovation. No, not even by the best innovation. The world's problems will be solved by the right philosophy. The world's problems will be solved by love and spiritual awareness. What do we think about fellow humans? What do we teach ourselves about each other? What do we think about the planet? What do we teach ourselves about the planet? Do we teach ourselves to belong to it, or do we teach ourselves to own it? Do we teach ourselves to respect it, or do we teach ourselves to exploit it? If you innovated a drone that shoots the seeds into the soil as a response to deforestation, and you are able to plant 1,000 or more trees, but still people in the community where you have planted these trees see them as source of charcoal, a source of wood, a source of timber, and not a source of life, you will live in the circle of trying to solve the same problem again and again and again, but on different days. So as inhabitants of the universe, it is incumbent upon us, and for the sake of our own existence, to connect with our surrounding. And most importantly, to reflect on our relationships. Let us stop for a moment and reconcile with ourselves. Let us stop for a moment and question our ways, our thoughts, and our actions, and once again rediscover our spiritual life. Let us make meditation a habit of our everyday living. Whether you can do that while walking, whether you can do that while seated somewhere in a private space, whether you can do that while typing an email, whether you can do that while having a cup of coffee, that is okay. The bottom line is for you to be able to live in the moment when you are aware of yourself and your surrounding. That is only thus we will free ourselves from the burden of prejudice, from the burden of fear, from the burden of hate, and be able to live more sustainably with more kindful actions for a happy and a peaceful world. We are not humans having a spiritual experience. We are spirits having a human experience. And the spirit is love. Love is not only what we need to live another day, but also what we need to live a world for others to stay. In Africa, we say, one can only take the reserve if only one has it in reserve. Let us reserve a world for our children.